Bruce Willis is one of the most famous celebrities in Hollywood. He achieved fame with a leading role on the comedy drama series Moonlighting and appeared in over 100 films, gaining recognition as an action hero after his portrayal of John McClane in the Die Hard franchise and other roles. Sadly, he retired from acting in 2022 after suffering from the language disorder aphasia, a degenerative brain disease that affects speech and communication in general. After this announcement, it seemed that reports about him died down, but finally, after almost a year, we are now hearing news about him from his family. Hi, welcome to YouWannaWatch. And in this video, we're going to explain about Bruce Willis' dementia. A statement from the Willis family. In a statement on social media, the family of Bruce Willis announced on February 16, 2023 that the Die Hard actor was diagnosed with dementia. They said it was a relief to finally have a clear diagnosis. The 67-year-old actor was diagnosed with aphasia, which causes speech difficulties, in the spring of last year, but this has progressed and he has been given a more specific diagnosis, according to his family. They expressed their deepest gratitude for the incredible outpouring of love. According to the family, frontotemporal dementia is the most common type of dementia in people under the age of 60. Today, there are no treatments for the disease, a reality that we hope can change in the years ahead, the statement said. Bruce Willis rose to prominence in the 1980s and 1990s as a lead character in blockbuster films such as Die Hard, The Sixth Sense, Armageddon, and Pulp Fiction. He has also been nominated for 5 Golden Globes, one of which he won for Moonlighting, and 3 Emmys, 2 of which he won. However, his family announced in 2022 that Bruce would stop acting because his aphasia was affecting his cognitive abilities. According to the new statement, they hoped that media attention would raise awareness of the actor's condition. It said, Bruce always believed in using his voice in the world to help others and to raise awareness about important issues both publicly and privately. We know in our hearts that, if he could today, he would want to respond by bringing global attention and a connectedness with those who are also dealing with this debilitating disease and how it impacts so many individuals and their families. The statement was signed by members of Willis' family, including his wife Emma Heming, with whom he has 2 daughters, and his former wife Demi Moore and their 3 daughters. Frontotemporal dementia, a heartbreaking disease. An expert explains how to detect and treat the heartbreaking disease, which is the most common form of dementia in patients under the age of 60. The Armageddon actor has been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia or FTD, a rare disease that will greatly affect his quality of life. What is FTD? According to the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration, to which the Willis family has referred, FTD is a loosely defined group of disorders that accompany degeneration of the frontal and or temporal lobes of the brain. Willis family called FTD a cruel disease in a joint statement. Dr. 𝘽𝙧𝙪𝙘𝙧𝙪, a behavioral neurologist who has studied frontotemporal degeneration and Alzheimer's and an assistant professor of neurology at NYU Langone Health and the chief medical officer at 𝘿𝐼𝑠𝑎c Health. He spoke with Rolling Stone to explain how FTD affects those who have it, as well as how it can be detected and treated. According to the research he has reviewed, the disease is extremely difficult to live with. When asked to describe the quality of life of someone with FTD, he describes the question as heartbreaking. As the condition progresses, quality of life is pretty significantly affected, Dr. 𝘽𝙧𝙪𝙘𝙧 says. There was one study that actually looked at caregivers' the quality of life of their loved ones with FTD, and particularly behavioral variant FTD, and the more common kind of response was worse than dead. FTD appears to occur when abnormal proteins accumulate in the frontal and or temporal lobes of the brain. As the proteins accumulate, the nerve cells become inflamed and injured over time. The symptoms vary depending on which part of the brain is affected by the disease. What are the symptoms? Frontal lobe degeneration is associated with behavioral symptoms. According to Dr. 𝘽𝙧𝙪𝙘𝙧𝙪, FTD can manifest as slow behavioral changes such as personality changes, disinhibition, impulsivity, new obsessions, and compulsions. Fragmented relationships with family members and friends, divorce, poor job performance, gambling, excessive spending, sexual indiscretions, and saying and doing things that can make people extremely upset or embarrassed with significant social impairment are frequently reported. It is where people develop what is known as primary progressive aphasia, as was the case with Bruce Willis, which is an unfortunate situation according to Dr. 𝘽𝙧𝙪𝙘𝙧𝙪. It presents as difficulty with word finding, comprehension, or writing. Over time, it can even evolve into difficulty with producing words with the mouth itself. As the disease progresses, particularly the temporal lobe, people can start to have difficulty with things like swallowing, which places them at a higher risk of developing pneumonia. A third, less common group affects motor issues and muscle function. People who experience muscle weakness may mistake it for Parkinson's disease. According to Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪, people who have ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease in their family are more likely to develop this type of FTD. He also stated that it is important to note that approximately 20 to 30% of people who develop FTD have a familial or genetic cause. There is still much research that needs to be done to better understand what causes these conditions in the rest of the population. The scarcity of available research explains why many patients are diagnosed as late as 3 years into the disease. When doctors detect the disease through clinical testing, the patient is frequently experiencing mild cognitive or behavioral impairment. FTD progresses to dementia when a person is unable to perform daily tasks. The severity of FTD can range from mild to moderate to severe. The disease progresses differently in each person and can take 7 to 13 years, though Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪 is aware of cases that have progressed as quickly as 2 years and as slowly as 20. People can develop FTD as early as their 20s and as late as their 80s, though most are diagnosed between the ages of 45 and 65. Mild impairment affects day-to-day things like managing correspondence and finances, public transport, and being able to get up and have a job. As a person progresses into the moderate stage, they become more reliant on basic daily activities such as showering, dressing, toileting, and eating. When someone becomes overly reliant on almost everything, the consequences are severe. When somebody has progressed to the point where they are having difficulty not just swallowing but also eating and having very limited interaction, they call that the end stage. What is the treatment? The Willis family mentioned in their family statement that there are no treatments for the disease, but Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪 says doctors work with patients based on their symptoms. They would refer a patient to speech and cognitive therapists to assist with communication and, in some cases, prescribe medications such as antipsychotics for people in severe distress. Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪, on the other hand, confirms that there are no cures for the condition. Ultimately, doctors are still learning about the disease. The lack of awareness for the disease is a result of a lack of available research. According to Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪, despite being the most common form of dementia in people under the age of 60, few people are aware of the disorder. People who are affected by it are not always able to advocate for themselves, so we do not see as many people speaking to Congress to demand more research. Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪 would like to see more research on the disease's biological mechanism, specifically why the proteins develop in the frontal lobes in the first place. More clinical trials are also required to determine whether experimental medications work when prescribed earlier in the diagnosis process. Once we begin to lose those brain cells, it might be too late, he says. Another problem that patients with FTD face is a scarcity of specialists to treat them. According to Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪, there are an estimated 370 behavioral neurologists in the country. There was also one study out of the Society of Actuaries looking at kind of workforce issues, and they found that half of the country was essentially defined as a dementia neurology desert, where there are 10 or fewer specialists in these areas for every 10,000 people who have any form of dementia, let alone people who are beginning to experience the early symptoms of these conditions, Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪 says. Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪 hopes that greater awareness of early symptoms, such as difficulty finding words, will lead to earlier diagnosis. As people gain a better understanding of the disease and doctors conduct more research, the lives of those affected may improve significantly. The cost can be sometimes twice as high compared to people with Alzheimer's disease, Dr. 𝘖𝙪𝙘𝙪𝙗 says. We are nearing the end of our video, but before we proceed, we would like to ask you to please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/c/YouWannaWatch2022 and follow us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/YouWannaWatch. Any support you provide us will help us provide you with more and better content. Okay, now back to the story. Celebrities react to Bruce Willis' frontotemporal dementia diagnosis. Well-wishers expressed their support for Bruce Willis after his family revealed that the actor had been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. The former First Lady of California and U.S. journalist Maria Shriver, a prominent campaigner for brain disorder patient care and research, tweeted, "My heart goes out to Bruce Willis and his family, and also my gratitude for shining a much-needed light on this disease. When people step forward, it helps all of us. When people get a diagnosis, it's extremely difficult, but also for most a relief to get a diagnosis." The That 70s Show actor Wilmer Valderrama commented, "Sending you all my love," on Willis' daughter Rumor's Instagram post about her father's advancing condition. Breaking Bad star Aaron Paul also expressed his love, sending hugs to you and that beautiful family of yours. Your pops is such a damn legend. Demi Moore, Bruce Willis' cis ex-wife, also took to Instagram to inform her followers about Bruce's condition. Actress Sophia Bush commented, "Sending love to all of you," and Selma Blair, who has been very open about her battle with multiple sclerosis, wrote that she was sending love to the family. Creed actor Carl Weathers also expressed his appreciation for Willis' cinematic achievements, writing on Twitter, "Yours truly sends love and positivity to Bruce and his family. His talent has been enjoyed round the world. Die Hard, Sixth Sense, Pulp Fiction. Love his work," he added. What do you think about Bruce Willis' dementia? Are you saddened about his condition? Did we miss anything that you think should have been included? Let us know your thoughts by writing a comment on this video. If you're interested in our other videos, just hover over the videos and just press play. Until next time, watchers, thank you for watching our video.